Welcome everyone. Well, just a quick introduction. I'm Harry, one of the Africa specialists here at Natural World Safaris. I'm going to be talking you through my 2-week recce to Botswana, which I did back in June, and talking you through some of my sort of top experiences and camps throughout the Okavango Delta. If you've joined any of our other webinars, which were more sort of a group tour focused, this is slightly different as it will be, yeah, sort of as I mentioned, top camps and experiences that I went to in Botswana. More focused on sort of a tailor-made itinerary, which we mainly do for Botswana. So just little bit about me. I've been lucky enough to be visiting the continent of Africa since I was a kid, as a family living in Kenya. So I've been visiting frequently throughout sort of East and Southern Africa for a while now, and been sort of working in this industry. Well, my first job was in the Africa safari side of things about 10 years ago. So yeah, very happy to share my sort of knowledge and experience and passion for the continent, and talk to you about Botswana today. So quickly, just to show you where I went and where the Delta is, if you're not aware. So it's up in the sort of northern part of Botswana. So where the orange dot is Maun, sort of the gateway to the Delta, which is where you would fly into usually from Johannesburg. And then the Delta it's just circled above. A huge, vast area with just incredible wildlife. It's just a short sort of 30 to 60-minute flight from Maun into most of the camps in the Delta, depending on where you are. And what's so unique about Botswana is they've taken quite a different approach to their sort of tourism. So they have very low number of camps and lodges in each area, and mainly in the private concessions. So when you are out on your game drives or boating safaris, you hardly see anyone else. Just the odd vehicle here and there. But in terms, in comparison to other destinations, it's very low impact. And when you're out, you've got that exclusivity of the game viewing, and the wildlife there is absolutely incredible. So it's that real exclusivity feel, that real wilderness feel, and some fantastic camps as well. Another sort of unique thing about Botswana is, of course, the Delta and its flooding. So what would normally be quite an arid part of Africa, seasonally the Delta floods from around sort of June into sort of September, October time, with water coming from the Angolan highlands and creating this unique Delta, bringing it to life with lots of waterways, lagoons, grassy plains, which turn this normally arid area into sort of a hive of animal activity. It's just a phenomenal place for game viewing. You get this very unique sort of landscape of shallow waters, which animals often, walking through. So if you're a photographer, it creates an amazing environment for that. So yeah, brilliant for, obviously great for big game. Big cats is fantastic. They have amazing guides. You're all, pretty much always away from the crowd, especially in the private concessions around the Delta. Typical activities out in the Delta would be your game drives, but then also Mokoro canoe, which you can see at the bottom of that image there, which is a traditional dugout canoe. So you can often see game, from that experience, which is nice without an engine, a very peaceful activity. They also have boat safaris with motorized boats in the deeper parts of the Delta, and bushwalks, fantastic bushwalking as well. So yeah, just a quick map of sort of some of the camps I visited throughout the Delta. It's a vast area, and they do differ. There are places which have permanent water further north up towards the Panhandle, and then as you look further south, it's more of a sort of seasonal floodplain. So things like boat safaris usually only occur when the water levels are high enough. But overall, a mixture of sort of water-based safari activities and land-based in the vehicle. So yeah, just going to talk about a few of my sort of favorite camps on the trip, and some real highlights. So yeah, first one coming up is Beagle's Expeditions. This was one of my very favorite camps. quite different to most of the camps in Botswana. Most of the camps in Botswana have gone down a very sort of luxury line, and Beagles are, still very comfortable. But the real sort of luxury at Beagles is they're the only camps in the huge sort of 30,000 hectare private concession. So when you go to Beagles, you take it on a private exclusive use, and four people will be enough to take it privately. So it's a small, intimate, family-run camp, only accessible by helicopter. So it's in a wild and sort of less visited part of the Delta in the west, in the western side. So it really does feel wild out there. No other camps nearby at all. And when you're out on your drives, because you're the only people staying in the camp and you've taken it exclusively, you don't see any other vehicles at all. So it really is special in that aspect. They do really focus on a lot of walking safaris as well. So if you're a keen walker, or like to get out on foot, they have excellent guides there, and you can arrange multiple walks for you. But it's completely up to you. So yeah, difference between drives, Mokoros, and walks there. And in terms of how it would work, they do sort of a 4 night minimum. So yeah, if we look at the tents here, so sort of yeah, A-frame tents. So in terms of sort of comfort, very comfortable indeed, but sort of no frills. So ensuite bathroom with a safari style bucket shower, and sort of compost loos. No Wi-Fi, so off grid, and you can really sort of disconnect. But it really does feel like a real adventure. So they do sort of, yeah, 4 night minimum. They have 2 camps. So you do 2 nights in one camp at least. And then you have a changeover day, which is the real highlight, and another 2 nights in their other camp. So going to quickly talk about the changeover day, because that was probably the highlight of my whole trip. So absolutely incredible start. You start it off with a helicopter flight over the Delta. So yeah, you head off at sort of sunrise, spotting. Your guide comes with you as well in the helicopter, spotting wildlife from the helicopter. So you're often seeing sort of elephants, and you can often see predators from the helicopter as well. They'll stop off, and you'll have sort of a cup of tea and a breakfast or a coffee, with your pilot and your guide in the bush, and then carry on back to camp, where the team at the camp will have your backpacks for the day ready to go with everything you need for the day. And you head off on a big sort of adventure day out into the wilderness with your guide and tracker to your next camp. The walking day is really flexible, up to you, depending on how long you would like to walk for. If you want to walk all day, that's fantastic. They'll certainly do that. If you want to shorten it, they can either drive you part of the way, and you can walk the rest. For us, the water levels are very high that year, so we did a little bit of Mokoro to begin with, down some of the waterways, and then walked through the Delta with our guide, spotting different wildlife on the way, looking at sort of footprints, and identifying different prints, different dung, with our guide. So really getting to your senses and learning more about the bush and the wildlife whilst on foot, which sometimes you miss the smaller things when you're in a vehicle. So definitely a different experience. And we're out all day, and of course, because you're in a private concession, we didn't see a single person, a single vehicle. It was just us and the bush. So yeah, really special. So yeah, coming on to the next property, which is Shindi. So this is in a prime area. Yeah, really game rich area. It has permanent water here, which is excellent. So the boat safaris here are amazing. They do motorized boat safaris, where you head out on the boat, and yeah, in terms of huge pods of hippos, lots of bird life, red lechwe on the banks. But yeah, a lovely camp with very comfortable sort of modern rooms and big ensuite bathrooms. It's a really friendly sort of atmosphere at camp. They do communal dining, so sit down and have your meals with the rest of the camp whilst you're there. Heading on to the next property, which is Zarafa. This is a high-end camp in the Cylinder concession, which is actually just sort of northeast of the Delta. It's not actually part of the Delta system. It's part of the Quando River system, so not affected by the Delta water levels. But here the game is brilliant. Fantastic predator viewing here. The camp itself is set up on a decking, which you can see on the left, looking over the Cylinder spillway. So when I was there, elephants roaming right in front of camp. It's yeah, fantastic game viewing. The guides are absolutely fantastic here, and in terms of the camp itself, it's very intimate. So just 4 suites, and then they also have a family suite which you can take privately. Um, and it's yeah, photographer owned camp. So they have actually cameras in every single room. So if you're a keen photographer, you're welcome to use those and yeah, enjoy the wildlife around you. Okavango Explorers. So this is the part of the same company that owns Zarafa. This is their Explorer level, so it's slightly more pared back to Zarafa, but still very much a luxury camp. It's in a remote part of the Cylinder concession, so it's really does feel a bit more wild down here. No other camps nearby. That was the main thing I loved about it when I got there. It was just a camp, yeah, in the middle of the bush and nothing else really nearby. When I arrived at this camp, there was about a herd of about 50 elephants right in front of the camp, wading through the water. So it was a pretty impressive arrival. So in terms of yeah, and that's quite. I mean, it seems to be that they get those Ellies in front of camp, relatively often. So hopefully, I wasn't just lucky, and that's yeah, a recurring theme. In terms of camps, the tents, as you can see, top right corner, that's one of the bedrooms. So yeah, really lovely, slightly sort of colonial feel to them. But yeah, very well done, and ensuite bathrooms as well. Top left there, elephants right in front of camp, as I mentioned, and yes, it's yeah seasonal flooding here as well. So yeah, depending on the water levels. Then coming to Tawana, this is a relatively new camp. It's about 18 months old. It's sort of competing with some of the top lodges in Botswana and the Delta at the moment. So in terms of the rooms, they're absolutely enormous. So you can yeah, they sort of have like yeah a modern feel to them, but with a slight African touch, I would say, in terms of the style. But yeah, very comfortable, luxurious camp indeed. Big swimming pool, lap pool there as well in the bottom right. Community to share. But I say the real highlight about this camp is its positioning. So it's in Moremi Game Reserve. So in terms of its location, it's got the Gomoti River flowing right in front of it. So whilst I was there, I literally sat on my sort of veranda and could see hippos, impala, elephant, kingfishers, baboons, literally right from my tent. So from my room. So yeah, the game in this area is excellent. Saw yeah plenty of big cats in this area as well. Lions pretty much on every drive. So yeah, also sort of cheetah from this camp. So yeah, fantastic game viewing, as well as being a very high end sort of a luxurious camp as well. So yeah, a few more pictures from Tawana. And then, yeah, I'm just going to touch on a few different areas of Botswana that you compare it with. So, I would say normally for the Delta, people do at least 2 camps, a combination of a camp that's more land focused and doing more vehicle-based safari, and then another camp that does a mixture of vehicle and then water-based safari activities. So either the Mokoro traditional canoe or the motorized boats as well. And that normally works really well doing a drier camp and what they call water-based camp. But if you want to do a third location, you could do yeah, a few different areas. So we've got the Makadikali pans, which is the largest salt pan in the world, which yeah has this huge, vast expanse of area, which is a more sort of dramatic lunar-like landscape. Um, in terms of the wildlife, it's more sort of desert adapted wildlife. So they have habituated meerkats, which are very cool, a very unique experience. So you can go out on foot with your guide, and the meerkats will just sort of literally run around you. Sometimes even crawl on you and use you as a lookout. So that's yeah a fantastic sort of unique experience in the area. Other desert adapted wildlife you can see sort of brown hyena, oryx, kudu. Yeah, typical activities in Makadi are your game drives, the habituated meerkats, quad bikes, and you've also got some bushman experiences there as well. Yeah, a few more pictures of the Makadi. Another region to combine the delta with would be the Central Kalahari. Again, more desert adapted wildlife, so known for its sort of black maned lions, as well as yeah things like brown hyena, springbok, oryx. They do have meerkat there as well, but you're actually much more likely going to see them in the Makadi where they are habituated, as yeah they're not habituated in the Kalahari. But yes, very sort of dramatic desert landscapes, fossilized pans, sweeping grasslands, and works as a nice contrasting environment to the delta. Other sort of unique experiences you can do in the Kalahari are yeah top of your sort of game drives and walks are things like the Sand Bushman experience, which is sort of one of Botswana's oldest cultural groups, and you can learn about their ancient traditions, hunting techniques, and survival skills in the Kalahari. So yeah, more of a cultural aspect to the Kalahari if you wanted to add that in as well. And just yeah, a quick map of where they are. So you can see the Central Kalahari, the large reserve right in the center of Botswana there. And then the Makadi just slightly up and to the right of the Kalahari as well. Very easily to combine with the Delta. There's yeah internal flight network through Botswana. It's very good. And yeah, sort of in terms of who Botswana works for, I would say it works really for all. I would say, yeah, it works really well for couples, families, usually families with slightly older kids, sort of six plus, and also solo travelers. Yeah, people looking for that exclusive wildlife experience away from the crowds with fantastic viewing, big game viewing, and that real wilderness and privacy feel. Okay, yeah, I mean that's my presentation for today. I think we've got a bit of time for a couple of questions. Got one here. So how much luggage can I bring on a trip like this? So the luggage allowance for Botswana for the light aircraft is 20 kilograms per person. So I mean that's relatively good for most safari destinations. But yeah, it has to be in soft-sided bags to fit on the light aircrafts. The light aircrafts are typically sort of 12-seater Cessna caravans. So yeah, that's typically how the safari network would work. What's the typical age range for travelers in Botswana, and does it work for kids? So age range, I mean, yeah, it does really work for all. I would say, as I mentioned earlier, I would say usually families with, I mean, there's plenty of camps with family tents or family suites, which have interlinking rooms. And when you take most of these family suites, you'll get a private vehicle, which is usually quite important for a family. So you can do whatever you want in terms of your day. You can head out on your game drives for as long or as little as you want. And that gives you flexibility in case, say, the kids get tired and you need to head back to camp. You can do that. In terms of age ranges, yeah, it really does work for all, I would say. But yeah, usually families with slightly older, well, 6+, I would say, normally works best. Anything younger than that might not suit quite as well. But yeah, certainly works well for all. How physically demanding is Botswana? So it really doesn't have to be at all, or it depends on the camp and the type of itinerary we would put together for you. So when you're on safari at most of these camps, it's up to you whether you want to do any of the walks or not. So if you wanted to focus on a vehicle-based safari or, Mokoro boat safari, that's absolutely fine and not do the walks. But if you wanted to do the walks, that's absolutely fine. So how it would typically work is when you get to a camp that has various activities, including walking safaris, as you normally chat to your guide, and they ask you each day, sort of, what you want to do the following day. So it is quite flexible. So the walks are completely up to you. Somewhere like Beagle's Expeditions, the first camp I spoke about, is a bit more walking focused. So that one, if you are a keen walker, that's a very good fit. But again, they can completely adapt the walking distances to however long you'd like to walk. If you want to just walk for 30, 40 minutes, that's absolutely fine. And if you want to walk all day, they'd be very happy to do that as well. So in terms of sort of fitness levels or how physically demanding it is, it works for all, and it can be sort of amended for you. Someone asking if they're a solo traveler and if it will work for them. Absolutely. Yeah, so it works really well for solo travelers. I mean, how it would work in terms of each camp. I mean, there are some camps that focus on communal dining. So if you wanted that experience, that often works quite well. Other camps have individual dining per booking. In terms of the safari activities, most camps have up to 6 people per vehicle. Some of the sort of higher end camps will limit that to 4. But yeah, so you would certainly meet other people on the way if you wanted to, but if you wanted to keep it completely private and just do your own thing, that's absolutely fine as well. Okay, guys, I think that's all we've got time for. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us today. If you are interested, please do get in touch. Yeah, either give us a call or drop us an email on the details on the screen, or you can go on the website and contact us through one of our contact forms on there as well. But yes, very happy to help with any questions on Botswana. So if any of the questions were missed there, we will follow up on those with you later this week. But yeah, any other sort of inquiries or questions, yeah, do get in touch. Either me or one of the other Africa Botswana specialists will be in touch to help you out. But yeah, thank you so much for joining, and yeah, looking forward to discussing Botswana with you in the future.